Good evening, and this is a Monday evening in Nigeria, and my name is Austin, and I'm here to give us another wonderful live broadcast. Sorry, my video was playing at the background. So, how you guys doing? Hope you guys had a lovely day. And first of all, I want to apologize. That I didn't finish my broadcast yesterday. I was on my broadcast and suddenly I discovered that I ran out of data. So when I did run out of data, I needed to work on my system to make sure that I get data. But by the time I had finished everything, I was out of time. So my sincere apologies to as many that watched my video, asked me questions, and I wasn't able to respond. Today, I'm going to respond to your questions. So please gear yourself up. And if you're in the chat room, just say hello. Let me know that you are online. Okay? Now, I have a number of good news for us in the TVC community. And we just finished with our send button meeting. Like some few hours ago, we finished our send button meeting, and it was really wonderful. A number of things was discussed about. And like I said in previous times, the information that we get there are classified. We are not permitted to let it known to the public until the admin puts it on the blog. But there are some things that the admin clearly made us understand. And I believe that everybody knows about this. It's a general thing that the TBC community also knows. One of which is we are going to do away with our Kringle cash. That's the first one. Now, the second one is that if you go to your wallet, yes, the billioncoin.info, you are going to see that the gold standard has already been placed. Now, when you look into the currency calculator, you'll find out that the value of the euro has really skyrocketed. The value of the all the currencies there has really gone up. That's one of the things that the admin promised that he was going to do when the migration starts. And indeed, he has done it. Now, when you go to the billioncoin.info, you see the effects. Another thing is when you log in and then you check into your daily price chart. That is under references. You check in your daily price chart and your ultimate price chart. You'll find out that there is a very swift, very remarkable difference. When you go to you have to log in to be able to find these information. If you don't log in, you won't be able to find it. So TBC community is really moving forward, and the admin clearly made us to understand that in TBC, this live broadcast is a daily thing, and this live broadcast is strictly to awaken as many people that are still sleeping. That's the reason why the live broadcast is here. And apart from the live broadcast, I urge you that may be listening to me to also understand that you can only get information from the live broadcast if you plug into the live broadcast. Now, there are so many people in the TBC community that are not conversant with having access to internet. So many people in the TBC community that are not conversant with checking up stuffs on YouTube. And that's not good. That's not good at all. So they are actually lagging behind. They don't have information. I have said this in previous times and I say it again. And there is an advertisement that I saw on one of the billboards while I was traveling along the way. And one of the information that I saw was data is life. Really, we are getting to the point where data becomes life, because cryptocurrency means that we are transporting our financial system into the internet. So without having data, you can't have access to the internet. Without having data, you can't have access to your TBC wallet. Without having data, you cannot carry out transactions. So you see, data is becoming live. So since data is becoming live, I make sure that at every point in time, I have data. I make sure that at every point in time, I have data that I can use to do transactions, data that I can use to make withdrawals, from my bank, data that I can use to do virtually everything. That's the kind of mindset that those that are in the TBC community should have. And if you do not have that mindset, what would happen is over time you will start lagging behind. And now, another thing I also want us to understand is that in the blog is becoming very busy by the day. The blog gets busier and busier by the day. As the community gets larger and larger, when the TBC community started, information on the blog comes out once in maybe 3 days, maybe once in a week. After some time, it improved from once in a week to twice in a week. After a while, it improved from twice in a week to 3 times in a week. And then it continued to improve because the community kept growing faster, larger, and larger. Now, in the TBC community, in 7 days, you find out that blogs come out about at least 4 times every week. At least 4 times. Now, you see, as the community keeps growing larger and larger and larger, what would happen is that over some time, you see, we're no more going to be having 4 times in a week. We're going to be having 6 times in a week. Sometimes every day, we're going to start having information on the blog. So you see, the truth about life is this. Leaders are what? Readers. Let me repeat it again. Leaders are what? Readers. Now, it's not necessary that you have to be a reader by reading any book that comes your way, because any book you read to a large extent influences the kind of person you are, influences the way you think, and it can modify you. It can even change you entirely if you are not grounded in, and if you do not have proper understanding. What will happen is that the book you read can change the way you think and reason about life. But you see, when you cultivate the habit of reading, you find out that it helps you, it improves you, it makes you informed. When you read and you read, it makes you informed about your immediate environment. When you read and read, it makes you informed about not just within your environment, far and wide. It tells you about a number of things, especially when it has to do with your profession. So that's one thing that is very they are synonymous. Now, in the TBC community, those that are going to be millionaires, those that are going to be billionaires, those that are going to use TBC to shake the foundations of this earth are those that keep up with the blog. Cultivate the habit of keeping up with them. I read the blog because I have a hobby. I read, and I keep reading because it's something that I derive joy in doing. So the point I'm actually driving the community, if you are going to be extra, or going to stand out, you're going to stand and discuss with people and lot of information you have on the blog. Another information you also need to have information that get from the leaders. I've said this before and I keep saying it, that one of the leaders that I draw great inspiration from is the voice of TBC. I've been following the voice of TBC. I've been following him on a consistent. I derive joy in listening to him. And one thing about him is he's cultured. He's well-mannered. Anyway, he has a good number of experience. So he's expected to be a professional in this thing and pushing TBC to greater heights. That's his own area of expertise. So he should have grown and then built strong understanding on how to deal with human relations. Now, another strong inspiration from the leaders is Dan Lutz. I drew inspiration from Dan Lutz. You see, another thing that I also want us to know is this. Younger, I wasn't very good in current affairs. I really don't know. It's just that sometimes I tend to think that there is a way that God creates individuals. Now, when I was much younger, they did tell us about current affairs and all those things. Social studies, I loved social studies. But in current affairs, I really didn't know who is the president of this person from this country, who is the governor of this state, who is the senator of this and that and that. Those things really bored me. I didn't know why it did bore me. I tried to know and I tried to know. Each time I kept trying to know, I find out that I never had any interest in it. But you see, in this TBC community, I have been so consistent in it. You know, I was looking at the leaders that were in the TBC meeting today, and I saw almost all of them. At least I was able to recognize the leader of Papua New Guinea. Let me recall his name again. Michael Ilu. I think that was Michael Ilu. Yeah. I was able to recognize Derek Mbe. That's from Cameroon. I was able to see and know the South African president, that's Lawrence Menoleke. And I was able to know the voice of TBC, I think from California. I was able to know Doc Dan. I was able to know Dan Lutz. I was able to see Favor Sonalo, the president of Nigeria, TBC. And who else was I able to take note of? There was this new guy that came in that now works in line with the voice of TBC. I'm trying to recall his name, one Indian person. Now, you see, the point I'm actually driving at is that these leaders, the only person that was missing out was Dan Ewa. Now, these people, I didn't struggle to know them. It was because I had an interest. You see, that's what you call passion. This passion is poured from God knows where. And I just see it flowing out. You know, I see one other lady, I've forgotten her name. One, I think she's an American, but she resides in South Africa. I can't recall the name now. But the point is, all these people, I see them, I listen to them, I watch them, and I draw inspiration. Now, if it comes to current affairs in TBC, you know, I can say that if you give me a current affair on TBC, I can get at least 90% in TBC. That's because I have interest. Now, this is just, do you know that this is just the beginning of TBC? For many of us, we may not know, but this is just the beginning. TBC is a revolution. Now, the goal of TBC is to swallow up the world in cryptocurrency. That's actually the ultimate goal of TBC. Yes, the admin says it's to eradicate poverty. That's one of the things TBC will do. But you see, when TBC becomes very liquid, how it will become very liquid, the admin knows. I know very well that the banks will still come in. Now, when the banks come in and it starts working with TBC for some time, everybody will want to work with TBC because it's actually the reverse of the debt slavery system we are on. It's now an abundance-based system. By the time we start on this process, that's after we finish the migration, what happens is that the whole world will want to work with TBC. And invariably, everyone will be working on cryptocurrencies. Obviously, the financial system will go down very soon. I don't know what the government has in plan to be able to replace this current financial system. I know that the elites are working on something. But whatever they are working on, the point is this, that TBC is our shelter. TBC is our best alternative to be able to survive the current trend that is coming down on mankind and is bringing in poverty in a very, very, very scary way, you know. So the point I'm actually concluding on, because I will soon finish up now, is that the migration has started. Please and please and please and please. Tomorrow we'll be entering the month of May. We'll be entering the month of May. Now, within this month of May, I said this yesterday and I'm saying it again. Within this month of May, migration will start and the cookies redemption will also start. Now, I believe that more than 600,000 people, or 700 and something thousand people has purchased at least $100 out of TBC. You have a limited time of 1 month. After 1 month, that chapter closes. I earlier on said yesterday, and I treat it again, do not settle for one TBC. This is your opportunity to pack as many TBCs as you can by attending your send button meetings, by doing live broadcasts, you know, because very soon the admin is going to start categorizing those who are very steady in their live broadcasts so that they can bring in as many people to the TBC community, those that have abandoned it. Now, you can also get as many cookies as possible by engaging in referrals. I said this yesterday that I can help you with referrals if you feel like getting referrals. Another way of getting TBC is going out, telling people about it, meeting them one-on-one and educating them. TBC has its structure. Please, let's get this. TBC has its own structure. You cannot finish telling someone about TBC and expect the person to be an orphan. No, you liken it to the church of Christ. When someone gives his life to Christ, you can't abandon him. The first thing you do is tell him to find a living church, a Bible-believing church, and then begin to grow his faith. That is where they begin to teach him. As a young child of God, he grows to understand the ways of the Spirit. He grows to understand how to control himself by the grace of the Spirit of God. And then after some time, it will take him 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, and then he grows from taking milk to start taking meat. And after a while, he grows from taking meat to start taking bones. That's when the fruits of the Spirit of God begins to manifest. Now, when you are matured as a child of God, you will see that the fruits of the Spirit of God will begin to manifest to a very great measure. But the gift is given to everyone. Everyone has the gift. As you grow, you can exercise that gift. But you having those gifts, ability to see things, prophesy, and all that does not show that you are a mature Christian. It is the way you live your life. The scripture says, by their fruits you shall know them. If you live your life as a child of God, it will be obvious by the way people talk about you. If you are not a child of God and you exhibit gifts, you exhibit all manner of spiritual gifts, and you have bad character, that shows that you may be a child of God, but you are an immature child of God. Now, the point I'm actually driving at is that in the TBC community, if you are going to go about your migration, do not be in a haste. 1. 2, as a person, you go and you find out about TBC. Don't just say, TBC, let me register, and then after registering, I'll wait. No. Everybody should cultivate the habit of bringing people into TBC groups. That's exactly how the TBC community will succeed. Because someone that does not understand TBC, if he's in a group and the admin is telling him, follow up, find this out, follow up on this, read this, putting blogs and educating people, enlightening people, coming up and then shooting videos on the group. Listen, if the person is serious, the person will learn very well about TBC. And that's exactly how I build my own TBC community. That's how I build my own group. I tell them about TBC and I build them, I mentor them very, very well. They have personal questions, they ask me, I answer them. And really, there is nothing in TBC you ask me that I cannot give you an answer to, except highly classified informations. Okay? The admin want us to stop talking about the banks because the migration has to be concluded first before the banks can start thinking of coming in. A good number of modifications are taking place in the Kringle Cash back office. If you look into your Kringle Cash back office, you'll see that some writings has been changed. Any moment from between now and the end of the week, you'll find out that our new logo will be included in the Kringle Cash back office. There is what we call an overhauling of the whole TBC system. That is exactly what will be happening. Between now and the next 90 days, by the time we are coming out of the 90 days, you'll find out that TBC becomes a strong organization. In fact, everyone wants to contend with TBC. Want to deal with TBC. And then for those of us that want to easily identify yourself as a TBC community member, if you look at the Kringle Cash, the blog, you'll find out that so many people are now adopting it, copying it and pasting both the gold and the transparent version, and including it on their social medias like Facebook, like Instagram, and the rest of them. Someone will meet you and ask you, "What's this?" You tell them it's a sign in our TBC community. It means that I'm a solid member of the TBC community. And when this keeps happening and people keep seeing it and seeing it and seeing it, and our community is getting larger, guess what? People will begin to want to identify. They'll be like, this TBC community, it's a community to reckon with, to stay with, to associate with. A number of things will be coming up, but it's not in my place to let out this information. I believe the admin, in due course, in due time, he would update us with all this information. Please, let's keep up with the blog, okay? Let us keep up with the blog. Now, I think, okay, it's, oh, very good. Very good. I was trying to talk about someone, and the person was Well, I think it was it Erica? That's one of the ladies that stays in South Africa. I don't know if it's Erica. But Erica was the person that was doing the translation today. Well, it's all good. So I see that one of my very, very lovely friends, anyway, two of my very lovely friends are online. That's Ngozi and Nenna. So I would bring the meeting to a close now. And before I do, I don't know if we have any questions. Within another 1 minute, I'm open to answer questions. If there are questions that you have to ask, please drop it on the group and sorry, on the live broadcast, and I will respond. But if there are no questions, then maybe I'll call it quits. So I'm all ears. I'm holding on for you guys. Like I said, if you have questions to ask, please feel free to ask questions. I'm here. I'll be here for a while. If there are questions, you ask, and I will answer. But if there are no questions, then I guess that will be all for today. So I'm still here, and I'm holding on, please. Okay. Ngozi asked a question. She said, hope fiat exchange is coming up after migration. Well, it's not in my place to give an answer to that, my dear sister. Fiat exchange is, now I want us to understand something. I want us to, we are intelligent beings. I want us to understand this. We are very intelligent beings. We are after God in the hierarchy of creation. Even though angels were created before human beings were created, but in the hierarchy of God, the only people that God created who were in his direct image are human beings. So we reason just like God. You see, angels do not reason like the way God reasons. Angels only walk by directives. God gives them instructions and then they obey. But you see, God gave us a free will. That's what God did to us. Now, what am I trying to say? I'm talking about the migration. If you look into the TBC community, sincerely speaking, the admin said that currently we are in the distribution phase of TBC. We cannot repeat the same thing that Bitcoin did. Bitcoin is a very unevenly distributed in the world. Some people has never heard about Bitcoin, but I tell you the truth. So many people I've met who know Bitcoin, they think Bitcoin is a scam. They think Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme. But when you talk to them about TBC, they feel at home with TBC. Now, what am I trying to say? TBC has not become globally accepted yet. Why? Because we have to distribute it far and wide. You see, the admin said we need to get 1 million billionaires and 1 billion millionaires. So we need to finish that structure. Then the existence of TBC begins. Oh, Nana is talking about her network. Don't worry, the network will soon come up. So my point is this: how can TBC become globally accepted? It's obvious. The only way TBC can become globally accepted is when there is an in-between. And in-between, everything that the admin puts on the blog, sometime later he references it. A very good instance was the one that came up some 3 days ago. Something that came up 2017, admin referenced it. He talked about associating our TBC mark with gold. That was about a year ago. He had to reference it. That's the same thing that will happen. For TBC to become globally accepted, the admin clearly said in the blog, I'm not supposed to say this, but because this is the live broadcast, I believe those that are listening are those that are willing to learn from TBC. The admin clearly said in the TBC blog that he cannot wait to put a sock on the mouth of the naysayers. That's one of the quotes, one of the clauses he used. That the TBC testers are going to be able to withdraw at least $500 on a weekly basis through the ATM cards. Now, when this happens, that is when everybody will believe TBC. That is when TBC becomes globally acceptable. So invariably, the fiat exchange must come up. And when it comes up, testers and backup testers will have these ATM cards. And when they do have these ATM cards and they start using it for transactions, they have to come online. They have to come to the live broadcast, tell the world that TBC is real. I've been able to withdraw certain amount of money, and I will keep withdrawing it for another period of time, at least for 1 week, $500. Another 1 week, $500. Continuously, admin is the one that will decide how the testers and the backup testers will go about it. And then after testers, backup testers, more people will come in, more ATM cards will be given to the TBC community. That's how we'll continue to grow and keep growing until a point will come where you don't necessarily need to give somebody cash. You can just tell the person, let me give you TBC. Anytime you want to go and make your withdrawals, you can use your ATM card and then change it. You know, the reason why this will exist is because we need to have an in-between. Something must exist. That is TBC and paper money, just like Bitcoin. And then your ATM cards will be able to withdraw, and then they will deduct it from your TBC. Remember that the admin also said that there will be some transaction fees. You know, all this will be decided by the bank. After this thing has been done for a period of time, people will now accept TBC. Clearly, remember, admin said that it will take TBC about 2 to 3 years before it becomes globally acceptable. So these 2 to 3 years is when we'll be building our numbers, when the banks will come in. And then when people will begin to, that is when merchants will begin to say, I want to associate ourselves. We want to associate ourselves with your community, you know. So the point I'm actually driving at in a nutshell is that the fiat exchange is inevitable. This is the sincere truth. The fiat exchange is completely inevitable. If the fiat exchange does not come up, that means TBC would not be acceptable. Even though it will be acceptable, it will take a longer time. But for the admin to keep to his words, 2 to 3 years, the fiat exchange has to come in. Okay? So I hope I was able to answer your question, Ngozi. If I did, please respond by saying yes, you did. Nena, are you still there? I'm still open. If there are still more questions, feel free, ask me questions. Let me answer before I call it a day for I call it quit for today. All right, that's beautiful. So Nana is still online. If you have any questions, Nana, please feel free, ask me questions. If you do not have any questions, I want us to understand that this is just the initiation phase. By the time you guys can please keep consistent with me, our numbers will grow. People will start coming in because it took TBC Randy a while before he started having at least 50 people on his live broadcast. It took him a while before he could start having 60 people on his live broadcast. Currently now he's running on 60 people, between 60 and 80. Now for 60 to 80 people to be on his live broadcast, he had to shoot to at least 22, 23, 24. So the point I'm driving at is I will keep being consistent on this live broadcast so that we can build. Okay, so Nena is asking, she said, how much to book for the cruise? Well, concerning the cruise, everything is in your Crinkle Cash back office. Go to your Crinkle Cash back office under 2018 cruise. Check it. When you get there, read. Every information is there. Your payments vary between $500, some $720 something dollars. You know, it's just like Titanic. What happened in Titanic? You go there and spend 1 week vacation. I wish I'll be there. I've not concluded yet. If I'm able to come across some reasonable amount of funds, then I'll go for the cruise. You know, that's an international thing from people from all over the world. You just go there and then spend 1 week. Caribbean cruise. That's Caribbean. I think in Caribbean, somewhere in Caribbean. You just go there, meet people from all over the world, interact with them, discuss with them, you know, meet friends. You know, that would be a wonderful experience. And really, my whole body is itching to experience something like that. And listen, this thing is going to be videoed. It's going to be recorded. Everything will be videoed, recorded, and it will be dropped on the blog. For those of us that will not attend, at least you'll be able to watch it on the blog. For the first day, second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day, seventh day. I don't know if it's more than 1 week, but it's likely 1 week. Very likely. So if there are still questions, okay. All right. She's saying that I must be there. Well, I'll try my best to be there. And I think I would call this quits for today. We shall continue again some other time. I wouldn't promise that I'll be here tomorrow. I am not sure. But if I'm able to make it tomorrow, beautiful, I come online and then we discuss. So thank you, viewers, for coming online and then talking with me. Sincerely speaking, I really appreciate it. You guys are wonderful. Take care of yourself. Always remember that TBC only goes up in value. It never goes down, you know, and will continue to go up like the voice of TBC does. Keep going up like this. Anytime he does that, it makes me laugh. You know, sometimes he does like this, sometimes he does like this. Now, when we're doing the meeting today, he said today's zone, it's not like this, it's not like this, it's like this. If you go to you log in, you go to your ultimate chart, you find out that it just went one straight line up. That's exactly what he meant. Now, from tomorrow, it will now continue to move the normal way, which is up, until we get to our ultimate value. That's 1 billion verified members. So till we meet again some other time, thank you very much for your time. God bless you. Have a lovely night rest. For those of us that watch it from outside the country, from South Africa, from UK, from India, just know that I'm here to help you guys. In case you guys have any issues, feel free to contact me. My details will always be down. If you don't see my details, go to my channel, check my details, okay? Check my details, my email address will be there, my phone number, my WhatsApp number, let's interact. That's why the community is existing, for us to interact and get to know each other. All right, love you guys. Have a lovely night rest for we in Nigeria. And for those in other places, take care of yourself and God bless you. Good night.